In this section, I'm going to examine edge fillet command, and you can find it under Insert, Trace of Features command. So if I go to edge fillet, I can use fillet to create curves around my object. You can see that this is a very simple object, and it is created using a pad and then a pocket command. And you can see that for pocket, I have used something like a profile that has different parts. And this is deliberately done because I want to show you something about that. So first of all, what is edge fillet command? It gives me the ability to create some curved edges, and it does that by using, different methods. Sometimes it adds some material, like for example curves that are internal, and sometimes it removes some material when it is going to create curves that are external. So how can I do that? First of all, you can see that the curve can have a radius, and this radius button is selected right now by default, and the default radius is something that you have chosen before. I have chosen 5 millimeters before, so you can see it here, but I can change it, of course. The next option is to select the distance between the 2 points of a curve, and it is called the chordal length. And this is very, very important to have this ability. Sometimes you want to have a distance between the beginning and the end of the curve, and it should be computed very, very specifically. So you can choose both of these. Right now, I just go with radius because this is more common and most used. So then it asks me to types of propagations. There are four types of propagations, and tangency and minimal are the types that I'm going to examine right now, because again, these two are the most important types of propagations that we are going to use. So let's start with minimal. This is very interesting. If I select minimal and go to this edge, you can see this is an internal edge, and if I move my mouse over that, it can easily figure out this part is separate from the rest of the edge. I can click on that, and this is the only part that is going to be selected. That's because I have selected to have minimal. So let's have this 5 millimeters only and minimal, and I'm going to click on OK, and you can see that the fillet is created here for us, but not all parts, just some part that I have selected. I double click on edge fillet, and this time instead of minimal I select tangency. So all lines that are tangent to this line are going to be selected, and if I click on OK, you can see that all parts are going to have a fillet for us. And like I said, sometimes it is by adding some material, as is in this case. Sometimes it is by removing some material, like the edges that I am about to select. So I just go to Insert, Trace of Features, and from here again select Edge Fillet, and this time I'm going to select this edge. You can see that by selecting this edge and click on Preview, it gives me a preview of what is about to happen, and if I click on OK, you can see that some part is going to be removed for me to create this edge fillet, and I can show it exactly to you by just rotating the shape for you. Okay, there are different options, of course. I double click the edge fillet here, remove this object, and instead of selecting one line, I'm going to select a face. When you select a face, all adjacent lines are going to be filleted. So if I click on OK, you can see that 4 edges have fillet applied to them just because I have selected this face. And if I select multiple faces or multiple lines, again, you are going to receive fillets in different parts of that. But let me press Ctrl Z, and what I'm going to do is to modify this edge fillet this way. So let me remove this selection. You can see that here it says a variation, and the variation is constant. This means that from the beginning of the line to the end of the line, I'm going to have the same amount or the same radius for the fillet. But I can have different types of fillets in different parts of the line, and that makes it variable. So for that I need to have multiple points here. So let me cancel this out, and first of all I'm going to press Ctrl Z to remove this one as well. I'm going to add some points to this line, and based on those points I'm going to define different fillets in different points. So I just type C point command here, and this way I can have a point definition dialog box open for me. And what I'm going to do is to select on curve, And this is very important because I am using this line, and as soon as I click on this line, I can have a distance from the beginning of the line for the first point that I'm about to create. What I'm going to do is to type 50 here and press enter. This is the first point that I have. And again, I'm going to have the same command, so I go and activate this command one more time, and again select this, and this time I type 100. One more time I'm going to have another point on here, and that's going to be 150. And finally I'm going to have a fourth point in about 200 millimeters from the beginning, and you can see that I have 4 points defined for this line. Now I go and select Fillet command one more time. From dress up features I select Fillet, and the object to fillet is this line, and instead of constant this time I click on variable. And now I want to define the points. It says 2 elements because this is the first point, the beginning of the line, and the second point is the end of the line. But I just select this icon here, and I go and click on this point, this point, this point, and this point. Now I have 6 elements here. So I click on close. Now that I clicked on close, I can describe the amount of, fillet in different places. And for that, there is a setting button on top. So by clicking on that, you can see the fillet values for the 6 point can be defined. The first point is here. You can see it is highlighted for me. I'm going to have something like, let's say 15 millimeters for that. I select the second point, that is the end point here. So I just type something like 5 millimeters for this, and the rest I'm going to have, let's say 20 millimeters for this, and this is going to be a little extreme, of course. Next one is going to be 10 millimeters. I just want to show you how this works, and this is going to be 5 millimeters. Let's make it 15 again, and then click on OK. And then click on preview. You can see that the fillet is going to remove this much of material from my object. And if I click on OK, this is the fillet that I'm going to receive. This is different amount of radius in different places based on the points that I defined for my shape. So this is one type of the fillet that I created. I'm going to continue in next section.